Hey, it's Tree from Tree Essentials, and today I wanted to chime and chat about what does it mean to live our best life even when you are in the midst of things that you don't want to be in. So I can go on in this for days on end because I truly feel I am not exactly where I'm supposed to be. I know that sounds crazy because I'm about to give you information on how to do that, but I am giving you an experience like, how about a gratitude attitude mindset and a shift in seeing the beauty in the things around you? That is really the answer to all of that, because at the end of the day, like I said, I know I am not exactly where I'm supposed to be. I know that I am in a portion I have been dreaming, accomplishing, and working on different things that I look forward and am honored to be a part. And I know Creator has blessed me with those opportunities, and that is that gratitude mindset. But there are pieces and portions that I know are attributing to needing me to look forward in those pieces, and that is having hope, keeping expectation, knowing that there's faith is not by what you see but what is unseen. It's in your beliefs. And last but not least, making sure that you wake up in that gratitude piece. So all of these come together because there are pieces sometimes that you are looking forward to. And I am not the only one that goes through these things. I know you are too if you are watching this video right now. But there may be pieces that you are like letting go of, and that is a beautiful thing too, because just like a butterfly goes through metamorphosis, and they go through a cocoon originally as a caterpillar. That caterpillar had to break through and wrap up and basically be in an ugly state before it became into its beautiful best self. And that is something that not only has to do with your hair journey, but that as well has to do with just a life journey. There are pieces and portions sometimes in life that you may not want to do at that very moment, but at the end of the day, it's gonna treat you and bring you to your very better best self. So let's tap into that and just speak on why this is important and what to expect kind of in these places. So I've been graduated for about, it's almost 10 years. Well, it'll be 8 years, 7 years, no, 9 years from college in August. 9 years from college in August. I am a health educator by trade in my degree, but I ended up becoming a teacher. Why? Because I stayed in a city that I knew I would be here, but I didn't realize I was going to be here this long. But I did a random job, and it was kind of right after my grandma passed. So my great grandma was one of my everything. She was one of my inspos in life in general. And I kind of went into a bad state, and I ended up actually having other situations, like a situationship and abusive situations. And I fell off of my track, let's be honest. And so I became a community health worker while I was in college, which was really cool because I learned I love babies, which I really do. And this story is going to tell you watch how God turns things from the worst into the beautiful goods, because that's all that's been happening. And the blessings of the Lord maketh rich, and he adds no sorrow. So I've been in sorrow states, but I've also been getting into my highly positive, like at the end of Job's story space as well. So that situationship happened right around after my grandma passed, some months after. And I as well was doing the community job, but then I lost that job. Somebody stole things out of my car, which was just a crazy thing in itself then. And then my job kind of was like, what's going on with that girl? And then I stopped working there. But it was a grant funded. I did great opportunities. But the one thing I will say is I never really got to celebrate myself. Why I say that? Because the day after graduating, I ended up going to a training to be a centering facilitator, which was freaking amazing. But I did not get to celebrate that night because I had to go to work. And then after I graduated from my actual graduation, I had to end up going to work. So I never really had a moment to breathe. I had to pay for school out of pocket, and that is a blessing because I figured out a way. But at the end of the day, it was a lot going on. And while all of that was happening, I ended up moving to across the bridge, which since these are tri-state areas. So I moved across the bridge and I went to a home, and I moved in with a cousin, which is crazy. It was a guy cousin. I thought it was going to be great because I showed him around the city and everything, and he was good with his other roommates, but when it came to being with me, he basically abused me in that home. And I say that meaning financially, to the point I had to go to an eviction situation because there was mice in that home, and he did not want to move. Like, he refused to allow us to move, which was really crazy. And in that time, I actually had a person, it was a situationship that really prolonged out towards an abusive situation. But I feel like he got the opportunity to feel like it was okay, especially seeing how the way my cousin treated me. It was really bad. At that point, then I was not feeling my best self, and I actually stopped taking my medicines, and I actually ended up getting pregnant, and I had to actually abort that baby because I was being in an abusive situation. And I feel no guilt about it, so please don't go into the comments saying anything to me about it, because I think it was the best situation I could have ever done for myself so I could stay free from situations, even though it did prolong even longer than what it should have. But I'm not stuck in bond for the rest of my life with a child that has to grow up and be around those situations. So I praise God for that. But I went through those situations, became into one of my best situations in that time period too, because at the end of the day, I ended up getting into farming, and that right there, baby, changed my life. Okay, and that was a resilient space for me because I got to see the blessings and beauties of life, and I knew this was a calling in my life, and I didn't know how it was going to be all the way into my space, but I knew this is what I'm going to do in my lifetime. And so I was in my joy moment, and I think the person that I was abusing, he saw that and started succumbing. Every time I did something good for myself, there was some way they trickled into my situations, which I didn't realize at that moment was happening, but that's what was happening. And so eventually I started serving at different restaurants, and that right there was cool. I'm good at hospitality. It didn't bother me to do all that, but I ended up losing my vehicle at the moment, and it was an amazing opportunity for me to learn who I am, and I as well got into a point where I did more self-care with my business, because I started my business basically 2 months after my grandma passed. That was my thing for us together, and as well just my way to acknowledge my growth into graduating out of college and what I wanted to do, which Tree Essentials I'm still doing and all that, and I'm learning how to expand it. Promotion part is not the best part for me, but I'm learning how to express that part for me as well. So at the end of the day, I have journeyed far and few, and I got away from that abusive situation. I've had other things happen in the time span. I did get to become a hairstylist, and I did lose one of my baby spirit animals, Taj, in the time period because somebody killed him. because I was opening a wellness space, and I'm letting and expressing my truth out at the end of the day, because I cannot hold on to these parts anymore, because I have so much more to do in my life. And so I'm not afraid to speak on that anymore. Basically, what I'm trying to say is your joy moments, your spirit moments, your truth moments, your spaces where it seems like there may be a peace and sense of neglect, those pieces that bring you tribulations, that is a opportunity for you to do a triumph story. That is an opportunity for you to become resilient. That is an opportunity to see your strengths. That is an opportunity for you to overcome. And that is your opportunity to become your very better best self, and to not let things get the best out of you. Because will I say it sucked the life out of me seeing certain things happening? Yes, ma'am. It did. Did I have people not wish the best for me? Yes. I actually seen people try to do harm. But the thing about it is, Creator is the very better best self, and God will always carry you through when you are in your divine alignment. I had to let go of negative situations, negative habits, negative people, negative ideas, negative beliefs, and I'm still growing and learning. And I want you to note that you are able to do the very better best things too, and nothing but positive things will come out. And yes, it will be ugly sometimes. Didn't I just say a butterfly does not look cute in its cocoon? I meant that. So there are some ugly pieces, but the very better best part of these stories is you are going to become such an evolved version. You will not be the identity from the past. You will be a whole new creation. And that is what Creator intended for us to live, to be, and to do. You do not have to look at the things behind you. You're to move forward to the prize ahead. That means release, let go of the things that do not service you. And so what I notice is I forgive. I'm learning still forgiveness, and I'm actually, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm so grateful for all the things that enemies have tried to do towards me, because I've had to learn my strengths. And that means enemies and ideas, situations, people, especially, even friends that have been around, even family members. And so you have to let that thing go, because think of it. If a butterfly was mad at the cocoon, do you think it could get out? It couldn't. It could not, because it would be so worried about what's happening that it could not get through the process. So I need you to chime in and chat and see that you are your very better best self when you allow yourself to be your very better best self. You move into your identity of your flow and your positive creation, and nothing can stop you at that point. And the only thing that can stop you is yourself, because fear is false evidence appearing real. All those things were false, because at the end of the day, you are the main character in your story. So please make it look like a whole movie out here in the streets. Be a movie. Be the Matrix. Be I don't know. Be a princess in a fairy tale at the end of the day, or a queen. Like, I don't know, whoever you want to be like, because I'm Tree. I'm an empress. So that was the way to get me to be able to pay back for a car. But the blessing part was I lived in an area where I could walk and get to work. So that was a beauty in itself. I've always seen the gratitude attitude aspects of life. And yes, I'm at a museum, and this is so cute because there's these people posing for their marriage pictures, and I know that will be something in my life one of these days soon, so whatever. But yes, so I had that situation happening, and I never really told anybody. My family, we had a lot going on. There wasn't much to tell anybody. I was by myself, and I also had a caring heart. So at that point, I told people's family that they needed help, and it made them lie and tell the whole community that I'm doing things I was not. So I didn't realize I was telling my business to people that did not care for me at that time. Basically, to say these cocoons, it sounds like drama. It was drama, and I didn't know it was that much drama. But I was also being abused at the situation too, and didn't tell anybody. So it was a lot. going on? But I always succumbed through, and I made my very better best self, and I ended up went into teaching, which was a life changer, because I was able to not only get my card, but I was able to pave ways for me to get through my classes, to get into midwifery, all that. But I had to fall back a little bit on my gardening aspects, even though,
Just to let you know,